Okay, everybody says that you don't need to have star ratings or attributes in Football Manager. There are a lot of people who say that. They say don't focus on those things. You should focus on other things that the game's telling you. But what do you do if you're trying to buy players? What do you do for scouting? How does it work? Well, I've been playing Football Manager for a while now in hardcore mode, and I'm going to show you what I do to buy players and what I look at. So what you can see right here on the screen is this is our scouting setup. This is this is located here under recruitment focus and the scout priorities. What I did is I had our scouts go look at a whole ton of players, mostly Asian players, because we're in Asia, we're Yanbian FC, and look for players who especially are younger, who might be a good fit for our squad. You'll see here in these scouted players, there are a bunch of guys who are older. Most of them are Chinese. I've gone through this and pruned a couple of them out. There's some players who I know are really good, like Sufanat Moyanta, who I don't think we're going to be able to get, but we're always going to be on the lookout for him. There are the guys I just scouted at random, like this Han Kwang-song in North Korea. He has 3 caps. Basically, anybody who is North Korean who has any sort of cap at all, we decide to go take a look at him and sort of see what we can come up with. As you can see, when we click into these players, and we're going to see the one that I'm focusing on right now, Park Ki-hyun, my apologies, Park Ki-hyun, with Gangwon FC. He doesn't have any star ratings anywhere. There are no attributes for us to look at, right? And we can't really even see any sort of analytics for him. We can't really figure out much about his training. What we can see, though, is what the scouting report is. And this is where the focus is going to be here of this video. So what hardcore mode forces you to do in Football Manager is it forces you to actually read the scouting report and to pay attention to some stuff, right? You want to look at the pros and you want to look at the cons. There are 3 things in particular that I'm looking for. I'm looking for consistency, right? So here we have a very consistent performer, which is something that I really, really want to see. I don't want to sign anybody who's inconsistent. If you've been watching my save, you know that I've had mistakes in the recent past where I signed guys too quickly before we knew whether they were consistent or not. When they come in and they're inconsistent, it makes me upset because then I got to sell this guy. I don't want some guy who I don't know if he's going to actually like show up or not. So we don't want any of that stuff. Second thing that we're looking out for is injury proneness. We have anybody who is injury prone, and that'll show up here in the cons. Not a pro, but it'll show up as a con. If the player is injury prone, I don't want to have anything to do with them. I'm not interested at all. And the third thing is big matches. This is mostly for older players. I think it's not until a player is 22 that the big match indicator comes up. We want them to like big matches. We want it to be a pro. If there's a con where they dislike big matches, I'm going to end up selling them because I can't trust them in any sort of big match. I don't know what a big match is. I don't know if you know what a big match is, so whatever. So here we've identified this player, Park Ki-hyun. He's not perfect, right? He could bend the rules, lacks game intelligence, can only play in one position. I mean, whatever. He's 18, right? We can do something with him. We can help out. We can help him out. We can get him as a striker. Now, what I don't know is whether he actually wants to join our club, right? Because transfer interest here is listed as none, but very interested in loan. But you know what? I don't really care. I'm going to go for him anyway. You can see here the transfer value is estimated between 157,000 RMB and 1.55 million. Usually, so when we're going to make an offer, usually I try to go to a little bit over half of that 1.55 million, or here it says 1.6 million. Here it's actually coming up by default as 1 million, which tells me I probably made an offer for him in the past. So we can give that a try. I mean, as you can see, we have a lot of money in our transfer budget. Let's see what happens. And Gangwon have accepted this. In other words, you don't have to go to the high end of the transfer value. The rule of thumb that I have is usually if you're a little bit around halfway, or that is a little bit over halfway, the other club will accept it. With some clubs, and I think it depends upon club culture or sometimes even the country that they're in, they'll try to tack on additional fees and stuff if you play that game. But it's worth a try. It's worth going for. Now that I've made the offer for him too, by the way, I'm going to look here as he disappears. Yeah, I'm going to take him here off of our assignment so that we don't waste more time looking at him. The reason why I do that is because we have like a million different guys. You can see here I've been going after goalkeepers like crazy. I want to know everything about every Chinese goalkeeper. The reason why we want to know this, of course, is because we cannot sign non-Chinese goalkeepers. We have to sign Chinese goalkeepers. We have some good ones coming along, but I want to make sure that we monopolize the market as much as we possibly can. So we move forward a little bit here so that we can get to salary negotiations. I have a feeling that he's not going to want to negotiate salary with us, but fortunately I've already put in an offer for a different young player. So I'll show you that, and we'll see if we have anything that we can highlight or not. There are a couple of little tricks you can do with salary, sort of depending upon your club's reputation and the level that you're at, but there are things that you can take away if you don't really want to pay it. So here we have Zheng Li is this other player who I made in an offer for. He's 16, I think, 17. We'll take a quick look at him. 16 years old. This one is a little bit more controversial because he's unambitious. I also pay a lot of attention to personalities. However, when I'm getting guys who the scouts say have a lot of potential, A minus is the recommendation. Even if they're unambitious, I figure I might as well pick them up because we might be able to sell them again in the future. I know that we're rich, we have the sugar daddy, but come on. If it's good business, it's good business. So let's see what we can do here. We don't have to have this player in our first team. Future prospect, next transfer window. And here we have no agent fee. He's too young to have an agent, so we don't have to worry about that too much. If there is an agent fee, though, you can sometimes pull it down. I'm just going to go ahead and finalize this and take it the way that it is. With the agent fee now, which is the thing I did want to show you, and we probably aren't going to be able to see it, I will usually take the agent fee way down and then push it up like one notch. And sometimes you can give the player a little bit more salary instead. That way you don't have to pay any money to the agent. You're paying 10 renminbi in this game is like $1.50. So you're paying the agent $1.50 instead of like 10 million or something like that. That's what I recommend doing. In FM23, I've had a lot of success doing that. I've had a lot of good luck getting rid of agent fees completely. So that's one thing I'd recommend. Beijing Institute of Technology want him back. We're actually going to accept that, and the reason why, as I'll show you in a second, is because of all the players we have coming in. And just as I thought, Park Gi-hyun doesn't want to negotiate with us because he just joined his club, which is a shame because I think that he has a lot of potential, but they apparently think that as well. Now, we'll just look really quick here at some of the transfers that we have coming in. As you can see, we have a lot of players coming in. For a team that is undefeated and that doesn't look anywhere close to losing, we have a lot of players coming in. And most of them, as you can see, are young. Most of them are Chinese, and most of them have a lot of potential. One of the ones I do want to highlight here is Liu Xiaoziyang, who is coming into us from, I believe, actually Bayern Munich. He's with Klagenfurt right now. I think he's either on loan. I'm pretty sure he's on loan. I think Bayern Munich just loaned him out, and we ended up purchasing him from them. But as you can see here, so he comes up as fairly consistent, which is good. He's, 18 years old, I think. Professional individual. He got an A-plus recommendation, and we were able to afford him. And we paid not 8.5 million. I think we paid about 5 million renminbi or something like that, so got a great deal on him. This is probably right now the best Chinese goalkeeper in the game. 18 years old, 191 centimeters, and especially with that professional personality. This is the sort of player that we're really looking for. Negotiation with him was actually fairly simple. Contract details. This is showing the old contract, not the new one that we put in. Or we're not going to worry too much about the contract offer. Anyway, though, that's a real quick look here at how I tend to do my transfers. As you can see here, we have a whole bunch of goalies. Some of these guys who are in their 30s are never going to play for us. We're just going to bring them on and loan them straight out if the game lets us. Or if not, we'll just have them on the side, and then no one else can have them, and that will give us a competitive advantage. And we also have a lot of these really young goaltenders, 16, 15 years old. Just stick them in the under-19s and see how they develop. An interesting thing I've noticed about FM23 is that players who are foreign, who are 16 or 17, for the most part, aren't going to want to sign with you. You can find players who will come over, though. So we have one right here. Mohamed Mehdi Dekani, I managed to pick up and is going to come in. We only have the balanced personality, but he is consistent. He's fast. He's got a lot of acceleration. Can play over on the right side. And again, at 17 years old, we'll probably just stick him into the under-19s straight away. That's sort of the strategy. Anyway, once again, so we go back here, and I want to sort of stress this point. when you're looking at your scouting reports, your priorities and stuff, I always want to see the personality here more than anything else. If you try to sort it by personality, it'll glitch out because Football Manager things, so whatever. I try to sort by recommendation because, if we haven't looked at the player yet, who cares? Really what you want to do is you want to get rid of this guy's unambitious and we think that he sucks. Okay, we're not going to look at this guy. Oh, this guy's also unambitious, doesn't have any sort of potential. Yeah, we don't want to look at this guy. The ones that we really care about are the ones where we still don't know yet what their personality is, because you never know. You might find someone who's a model citizen or who's model professional or who's a perfectionist, and the game will create these players. You might find them sitting around rotting in somebody's under 19 team or whatever, and never being used, right? So that's kind of what we want to know. Anyway, when I look over at players and scouted players as well, the same thing will pop up here, right? So you can see that I make sure to keep personality here. And here you can actually sort it by personality, which makes me wonder why you couldn't do that elsewhere. Fairly Professional is fairly good. Even with the F recommendation, with the inconsistency, we probably won't get him. But if he had better consistency, we probably would actually look into signing this player just because of the Fairly Professional personality. Anyway, there's a little bit of advice for you, and I hope that you do well in your own saves as you try to figure this stuff out. And by the way, I would really recommend giving Football Manager Hardcore Mode a try because it's actually a lot of fun and it works pretty well. So go for it, man. Talk to you later. Bye.